I am a Glasgow-based artist. I was born in Glasgow in the south side of the city, and as an artist now, I feel as if my upbringing in the city influences a lot of my paintings today. I've always been very fascinated by the history of Glasgow, how it all evolved round this River Clyde that runs through the city. The architecture has always fascinated me, from the style of the old tenement buildings to things that are in the city centre. A lot of people walk through our town, Glasgow. Most of them are busy rushing about their daily lives. However, if you take a moment to look up when you're in Glasgow city centre at some of the architecture, you'll be amazed at what you see. I like the way the city changes colour depending on the weather. It can be green and bright and a happy place one minute, and all of a sudden the weather changes and it can go traditionally grey Glasgow. I love how shadows play in the city as well, falling in the buildings, reflections. Everything has an influence on the work I do, and I'm very proud to live in the city. I painted an image of a post-apocalyptic, almost George Square. It's entitled The Eclipse, and again it's got washes of colour through it in various parts. It's basically, again, for you to decide, is there a war? Has parts of the buildings been destroyed? Is there no humans left? Whatever's happening, nature's still going on because the sun has been eclipsed by the moon, so the world is still spinning. I didn't realise when I did these paintings what the year 2020 would hold for us all, where there would be moments in people's lives where you would go into town and there wasn't a soul around. Unfortunately, they've become almost reality in some way. A few years ago I painted a picture called The Robin. It's my interpretation of St Mungo. St Mungo, when he was a young boy, is said to have brought a robin back to life. The painting I did of St Mungo is of an older gentleman. I always envisage St Mungo being a wise, old, warm-hearted, loving person, and that is the face I tried to capture in the painting. I wanted you to be able to look into the gentleman's eyes and see love and hope and sorrow in a sort of way. The robin is there obviously as part of the story and to show the affection St Mungo has. Also, there's an old saying, when robins appear, lost loved ones are near, and this is also something that I was thinking about as I painted the picture. Not only is it an interpretation of St Mungo, but it is also an interpretation for you to make up your mind about the spiritual meaning behind the robin. From a young boy, I was always fascinated in trains, as many young boys were, and my father was a joiner in Glasgow Central Hotel. We used to take regular trips into the town on the train. I loved the whole atmosphere, the smells, the hustle and bustle of the central station, and how the clock always just seemed to be in the middle, and when you would walk through, whether you wanted to know the time or not, for some reason your eyes seemed to be drawn to this clock. People use it to meet loved ones or meet friends and family, and they still do to this day. A few years back I painted a picture with the Tolbooth steeple in the background. It was inspired by the story of St John Ogilvie, who at the time was a Catholic priest in hiding in Glasgow. This was some 400 years ago when Catholicism was illegal. St John Ogilvie would go round houses giving private mass to people and trying to avoid the law, and it was a frightening time back then for Catholics in Glasgow and in certainly other parts of the country. Under the Hood, as the painting's entitled, is a modern day depiction of how some people can be ashamed of their faith and maybe not want to speak out about it, maybe hide about it. The point behind the painting is the city that it's set in, and the person in the foreground being a younger person hiding his head in shame under the hood, but still with the crucifix lowered proudly round his neck, to give an indication that whether you're hiding from yourself or from others, that Jesus is always with you.